Welcome to Frankly Speaking Sports. This is a breaking news special edition tonight. For those of you just tuning in, want to let you know right up front, we got breaking news out of Major League Baseball that the players and owners have agreed on a safety protocol and a health protocol. So the players are on their way to spring training. There will be Major League Baseball after all. Now, we're going to give you the news as we are getting it. It is breaking as we are entering our show. So I want to first tell you what we know and what's going on. First of all, once again, the players and owners have agreed on a season. It's going to be 60 games in 66 days. So 60 games in 66 days. They have agreed on opening day to be July 24th. So all the players are going to report by July 1st, which is a week from tomorrow. They're going to get to whatever site they designated for spring training 2.0. And then July 1st is the opening of spring training. And July 24th will be opening day in Major League Baseball. I almost feel like singing the song, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. This is incredible. Some great news. It looks like, according to John Heyman, he just texted me, the plan is for each team to play 40 games within their division and then 20 games in a league within their geographic areas. So just to give you an example for all of those Tampa Bay Rays, look, let's go, get those Rays out, baby. Get them out. That's right, we're ready. And just so you know, they're going to play 40 games against the AL East, which doesn't necessarily help them playing the AL East. But the other 20 games will be versus the NL East, like the Braves, the Mets, the Washington Nationals, and whoever else I just missed there. But I know there's a team I missed. But that's going to be the division. The Phillies are in that division. So just some great baseball about to begin. A month from now, we'll have regular games going on. Now, the thing you got to realize about this, and I'm trying to get schedules out for you, so if you guys see me looking down to my phone tonight, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I want to give you the most updated information as we get it hot off the press. So 60 games in 66 days. Let's think about this logically for a minute. When was the last time that every single baseball team had something to play for in the month of July? Or the month of August, I should say. Every team is in it now. This is anybody's game. It doesn't matter. We were talking, and we're going to get more into this Friday when Rich Hollenberg joins us, but we were talking about the depth of the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know how much depth if this helps a team like the Rays, because you're at a time now where your starters have to play. They have to play. And, that is definitely something that definitely has to, definitely play in. And once again, I apologize. I'm looking at my phone as I'll continue to get some breaking news here from Major League Baseball. Also, tonight we were supposed to have a very special guest for you. We're supposed to be Gene Watson. As of now, Gene, which is understandable, is not so sure he's going to be able to join us because he got called into a meeting. That's the one thing when you report directly to the general manager of the Kansas City Royals. You are right now, they're in meetings, special meetings, so we'll try to get him on if it's still possible. But I was, just looking to see if he messaged me. But tonight what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. I want to know how everybody's feeling about Major League Baseball being back. we have a message area right here where you can go ahead, you can leave a message. I will answer the question for you, whether it's about a particular team, whether it's about the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, it's just so great to have baseball back. I am so very happy. If you want to call in, I did put a number up there. We are taking phone calls in. We do have one line in. It's 479-553-7008. Once again, 479-553-7008. But before we get to our phone line, and hopefully we'll get people calling in, love you to call in. And I want to make this as interactive as possible. A great day for all of us as Major League Baseball is back. If you're just joining us, once again, the Major League Baseball and the players have agreed on the safety and health protocol. They are beginning right now to report to spring training. They have till July 1st to report. Opening day in Major League Baseball, it's official. It is going to be on July 24th. And once again, like I said, if you're just joining us, want to also let you know that the way the schedule is going to work out, and I keep looking over to see if I got the schedule that's supposed to come in, but it's going to be 40 games versus your division. So for the Tampa Bay Rays fans, 40 games are going to be played between the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays, and the Baltimore Orioles, which is not necessarily what you would call great news for the Tampa Bay Rays because they're in the toughest division in Major League Baseball. Those other 20 games, and I know I'm repeating myself because I'm looking at the numbers down here and we're getting more and more people joining us on with this breaking news that these games are going to be 20 games against your geographical area in a league. What that means is the Tampa Bay Rays, besides playing those teams in their division, will be playing 20 games against the Philadelphia Phillies, the Atlanta Braves, the Washington Nationals, and the New York Mets. So we know the opponents. One more time, if you're following and you want to know who the Tampa Bay Rays are playing in their 60 games, real simple. AL East, 40 games, NL East. So they will be playing games once again versus the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays, Baltimore Orioles, Washington Nationals, Atlanta Braves, Philadelphia Phillies, and New York Mets. That's their only opponents. That's what we're being told right now by the MLBPA, who has just texted me and notified me of that. So there it is, folks. That's your Rays schedule. As far as the dates, times, and locations, we'll get that out to you as soon as we know. But some great news. It's amazing. Every single team now in Major League Baseball has a chance. It's great for those teams that will expect, like right here where I'm located, the Kansas City Royals. Okay, they lost 103, 104 games the last 2 years. It don't matter. You go on a streak, you have a chance to get in the playoffs this year with only 60 games. It's not a matter of how much depth you have anymore. It doesn't matter. And I'm telling you what, for you Rays fans, it's going to be an exciting time. I remember last year I was talking to the great Dave Sims a couple of weeks ago from Seattle, who does the play-by-play. And I know we were talking to our buddy Dwayne Stats last week. The Mariners ended up with the worst record in Major League Baseball last year. But they started the season 13-2. Those are teams that are going to scare you this year because you cannot afford to have losing streaks now during this 60-game period. You can't start off 0-10 or 3-20. You're out of it. This is great. Everybody has to to play. And when you look at this Tampa Bay Rays lineup, and we're going to break it down in depth coming up this Friday when we talk to Rich Hollenberg, but I'm so damn fired up. We're going to talk a little bit about it today as well. And, you know, when I look at some of the acquisitions, I mean, this team is incredible, and it was all about depth. The unfortunate thing now is, you know, with a 60-game schedule, you got to play your best players. You got to play your best players, and it's really going to be, you know, tough now. You know, you got Yoshi, who the guy from Japan who's supposed to be an outrageous ball player. You got him in that outfield now. You got Kiermaier, you got Meadows, you got Renfroe. You got all these great players in the outfield. I think the big question with the Tampa Bay Rays this year is going to be the catching position. What can Mike Zunino do in a 60-game season? You know, the players it does help players who are not maybe healthy during spring training, because now the season isn't 162 games, and they're going to be able to go out there and play a majority of these 60 games that are going to be played the rest of this season. I mean, I'm just so fired up. Tell G-Man Troy, come on back. We're ready for you at first base, G-Man. Then you got second base, of course. I mean, we got Wendell. We got Brandon Lau. We got Daniel Robinson. I mean, shortstop, Willie Adames. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Let's not forget Yandy Diaz, you know, at third base. I mean, this team is a good baseball team. And what it's going to come down to at the beginning of the season, and, you know, you got to ask yourself, I'd be very surprised and I'd be very disappointed if I'm a Rays fan, you know, and a lot of people are going, well, the pitchers aren't ready. They're going to have to get ready. If they haven't been practicing, if they haven't been keeping in shape, you know, shame on them. Shame on them. Let's hope our pitchers on the Tampa Bay Rays have been doing that. I mean, you look at our starting five, it is incredible. I mean, we know about Morton, we know about Snell, we know about Glasnow, who is healthy, thank goodness again. And then you got, Chirinos and Yarbrough. I mean, we have a starting five that is just unbelievable. And if Nick Anderson can come back this year and do what he did after coming over from the Miami Marlins or Florida Marlins last year, what a great, great pitching staff we have. The only thing, once again, and I tell my fans this, is it's a quick season. It starts basically the end of July. You got 2 seasons 2 months, and you're in the playoffs. So it's going to be some real good, fast-paced baseball games, and you're not going to have time anymore. The excitement's going to start from game 1. It's not going to be like an opening day that we've had in the past where, big deal if you lose opening day, you got 161 games left. No way, baby. Baseball's back! Yes! I want to remind you all, we are opening it up today, and let me explain, and I think a lot of you can understand this. We were supposed to have Gene Watson. He is the assistant to the GM for the Kansas City Royals. He got called into a special or breaking meeting, an emergency meeting with the Kansas City Royals due to the resumption of the season. So it is likely he will not be with us this evening. So we opened up the phone lines. Please call in. You know, we have one line coming in. We left the phone number. I'll give you that in a minute. Go ahead. Call in. The number here is 479-553-7008. We love to get you on. You know, we got fans all over the place commenting. I got Let's Go Rays, Let's Go Cubs, Let's Go Red Sox. As long as they don't cheat it, you know, Stacy, well, they'll be all right over there. I have to give Stacy some crap. She's a person that grew up in Massachusetts. She now lives in Tampa Bay. It's about damn time you root for the Rays. Tell her how it is, guys. And want to welcome Jeff to the show as well. Big Chicago Cub fans. He goes, Larry, I don't like the DH in the NL. Well, you know what, Jeff, I agree with you. I'm not a big designated hitter fan myself. And, if you listened to the show last night, we had Randy Lurch on. We were talking about Randy, his great game in September back in 1978, where he hit 2 home runs as a pitcher. I just think that a manager has to manage a lot more when they're in the NL than they do in the American League. And it's no knock towards the American League, but that's why you see so many more home runs in the American League. That's why you see higher batting averages, is because you have that 9th hitter, whereas in the National League, or I should say that 10th hitter, whatever it is, where in the National League, you have 8 hitters and a pitcher hitting. And no discredit towards pitchers, but they're not hitting. They're hitting every 5 days if they're lucky. So it's just a completely different ball game. I think the DH adds a lot more runs and excitement to a game if you like it, if you like that kind of baseball. Whereas in the National League, you have to decide whether to keep a pitcher in, take a pitcher out, and do all these different things that, know what's going on next inning. Do you let the pitcher back out? He's going to be up first the next inning. There's just so much more strategy in the game of baseball, I think, and it's just my opinion. Let me know what you think, than the National League. Want to remind you all, tonight is a very special broadcast, different from the regular show we had planned. Baseball is back. Breaking news has come down as about an hour ago that the Major League players and owners have agreed on the safety protocol in Major League Baseball. They're on their way to spring training. We opened up the phone lines tonight. The phone line, once again, 479-553-7008, or leave a message here. Want to remind you all about upcoming shows, and I don't want to forget this. Tomorrow night, if you are not a member of Crew Life, go ahead and join Crew Life. My buddy Rob Thompson and all those great guys at Crew Life. Tomorrow night, we start our first episode with our new family, Crew Life, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. We are going to have Buccaneer Wednesday going forward every single Wednesday. Make sure you join us. Rob has left the link on Frankly Speaking Sports so that you can all join Crew Life. That'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what a great, I'll tell you what, I'm fired up. I am so fired up here for our first guest on our first Wednesday night show with Crew Life. It's going to be former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and former New England Patriot Ricky Reynolds tomorrow. What a great show that's going to be. I already texted Ricky today. He's looking so forward to coming on the show tomorrow. We're going to talk about this upcoming Buccaneer season. We're going to also talk about, the difference of playing in New England versus playing in Tampa Bay. Nobody knows that better than Ricky. He's done it for a couple of years in both places. So we got a lot to talk about on our special broadcast tomorrow night on Crew Life. Once again, become a member of Crew Life. You can go to Frankly Speaking Sports. I'm sure Rob left a couple links there for you to go ahead and join. So make sure you do that. Also, Thursday night, all you USF Bull fans, we have the great public address announcer of the USF Bulls for men's football and women's basketball. Eric Handman will be joining us live Thursday night. And what a another great Tampa Bay-based show with Eric Handman. We'll be talking about the Bulls, what we can expect this year from that team under new coach Scott Frost. Just a lot to talk about. Then Friday night, my Tampa Bay Ray buddy, Rich Hollenberg, he'll be joining us live on Frankly Speaking Sports to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays and the resumption of the 2020 season. Then let's not forget, I'm not going to go over all next week for you, but I will tell you next Tuesday night, for you Cub fans out there and Braves fans out there, next Tuesday night, he's the grandson of Harry Carey, the son of Skip Carey. Chip Carey will be joining us Tuesday night on Frankly Speaking Sports. So just a lot of great guests that are going to be joining us. And we're looking at the guest hotline now. And we got several different platforms. So I'm looking at as we got this breaking news. We already talked about the breakdown. Just seeing if anything new. Ken Rosenthal, we don't care that you were getting a haircut when you heard the news. Okay. So, anyway, great news. Contact us. Call us on the hotline. Get involved. Let's talk some Rays baseball a little bit. Or just let me know what you think about Major League Baseball getting back. We do have a phone line here. Please call it. Please get involved. I love fan involvement. But I do want to talk about something that has really, and it's related to baseball, that has really got me going here. And you guys know what happens when Larry gets pissed off. And, especially when I believe in something or I don't believe in something and something is wrong. And, it was a couple of months ago, I remember reading articles, and all of you baseball fans out there, I'm sure remember this as well. The San Francisco Giants, who are celebrating, I believe it's 2 championships, and they're getting players back. I forget the year. Might have been 2010, sometime in the 2000s when they won the championship. They're getting the team back together. They're doing what you call a reunion. And during this reunion time, they have decided, due to some unpleasant comments from Aubrey Huff, to not include him in the ceremonies. Now, some of you may know about this story, some of you may not, but he talked, some things about guns and some other things about killings and stuff like this. Just some weird stuff he was talking about. In simple terms, he was being a jerk. And it did not go well with the San Francisco Giants and their front office. So they decided to not allow him to participate. And at first, I was like, why would they do this to a guy? Here's a guy, he had decent years with them. How much of a jerk can this guy really be for you not to let him be involved in a reunion, which he had a big part of the success of those teams? And I started wondering, and then it hit me today. I'm reading a tweet, and it's not important where I got the tweet from or which buddies of mine tweeted it, but thank you very much for that individual, because it made me realize what a stupid jerk this guy Aubrey Huff really is. And I'm going to read this tweet from Aubrey Huff. And he's a former Tampa Bay Ray. He's a former San Francisco Giants. And he played for a couple other teams. And I want to get your opinion. Let me know if I'm thinking outside the box. But we're going through a very difficult time here, where the coronavirus is spreading like wildfires, especially in certain states like Texas and Florida. And there's many more cities and states around the U.S., and then you get a guy who's probably made anywhere between 50, 60, 70 million dollars in his career. And he comes out with this insensitive tweet at a terrible time. Here it is from Aubrey Huff, and I quote, "I will no longer wear a mask in any business. It's unconstitutional to enforce. Let's make the bullshit stop now. Who's with me?" What a complete idiot. Basically, here's a guy that made all this money that doesn't give a crap about anyone but himself. I don't want to wear a mask. Well, poor baby. There's a lot of things we don't want to do in life that we have to do, whether we agree with it or don't agree with it. So what he's saying is, I don't care who I get sick, who I get infected, and so on, as long as he doesn't have to wear a mask. And what's really disturbing about this whole thing, if you look at the amount of likes he got 41,000 likes on this tweet alone, which tells you, and we're finding out more and more every day, how insensitive people are. And you know, I understand being a professional or former professional athlete is tough. You know, it isn't as easy as everybody says. I don't care what any of my listeners say about it. At the end of the day, I've been around it. I've been there. I know it's difficult. You're constantly asked to sign autographs. You're constantly interrupted when you're eating dinner. There's a time where you got to piss somebody off because you got to say no, not because you want to say no. And I understand that. But there are kids, there are other individuals that look up to athletes and former athletes. And for you to come out and tweet that you don't care about anyone else but your damn self makes me completely understand why the San Francisco Giants do not want you to be part of their reunion. It's basically because you're an idiot, you're a jerk, you're insensitive, and whatever other words we can think of and adjectives we can think of to describe this idiot that used to play for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm sorry, you know, you hear every day about different things going on in the world, and you make a stupid butt comment like this about it's unconstitutional. What is it? Aubrey Huff, it's unconstitutional to not get other people sick? You know what's unconstitutional, Aubrey Huff? It's unconstitutional for you to be a stupid prick. That's what's unconstitutional. And there is no place, and you know what? I agree with the San Francisco Giants. After seeing how stupid, how insensitive, and just how, much, he doesn't care about other people, makes me glad that the San Francisco Giants made that decision to keep him out of that reunion. Want to remind all you folks listening and joining us, we were supposed to have the great Gene Watson on tonight, but as you know, and we broke it earlier in the show, Major League Baseball has agreed to the safety and protocol tonight, so they are going back. They are on their way back to spring training sites. Spring training starting July 1st, with the season starting July 24th. So Steve was called into emergency meeting. I keep looking at my phone because he is constantly keeping me updated. He will not get out. It actually says, according to John Heyman, that opening day is July 23rd or 24th. My sources are telling me July 24th will be opening day. My buddy Ian Rappaport just texted, "Let's go Mets." So everybody's excited to have baseball back. And I want to get the fans. I have a couple of hundred people right now I'm showing, listening to my show right now. Go ahead, leave a comment, talk about your team. I see that Jeff is excited about the Chicago Cubs. Hey, the Cubs have a chance this year. They got Joe, they don't have Joe Madden anymore. They got a brand new manager. Everybody has a chance. So just some great stuff coming out of from the fans. Go Red Sox, go Mets, go Cardinals, go Royals. So everybody, we got a wide variety of people listening all over. Go ahead and give us a call. We are on the Frankly Speaking Sports Hotline, 479-553-7008 is the number you can reach us at. Also, you can leave a message right here. As long as you comment or ask a question, that is great. I see Jeff's talking about my buddy Ross, the new coach of the Chicago Cubs, I mean, Jeff, let me know how you think. Leave a comment. I want to see what you think. Or you can go ahead and call us at 479-553-7008. The number's right up there. We'll get you online here. We'll talk a little bit about the Cubs and what you think about them as well. We always love people online. We love people to comment. So go ahead, call in, message in. We got about another 29 minutes in the show. I want to open it up to the crowd. And once again, if you're just joining us, our special guest was supposed to be Gene Watson, the director of pro scouting and assistant to the GM for the Kansas City Royals. Unfortunately, or I should say fortunately, because it was good news, he was called into an emergency meeting with the Kansas City Royals because of the resumption of the Major League Baseball season. So that is good news. For all you Tampa Bay Rays fans, I'm showing about 50% Tampa Bay fans here on our show right now. Leave me a message. Tell me, what do you think about the Rays? Is 60 games too short? Which teams are it going to benefit versus which teams is it not going to benefit? Obviously the teams with the best bullpens are definitely going to, play a big role this year, as they always do, but more so this year. Jeff just asked, who are they going to play, Jeff? It has already been concluded that they will play 40 games against the NL, whatever division you're in. We talked about the Rays before, but to answer Jeff's question, they are going to, and let me see if I can get the teams for you, Jeff, right here. I had it on my phone for you, because I know of all people, Jeff would ask, who are they playing? All right, Jeff. According to my report, Jeff, the Chicago Cubs, these are the teams they're playing. They are playing 40 games against the Milwaukee Brewers, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Pittsburgh Pirates. So 40 games against them. Then the 20 remaining games are going to be played against the AL Central, which is Minnesota, Cleveland, the Chicago White Sox, the Kansas City Royals, and Detroit Tigers. So that's 5 teams, probably one series versus each of those AL Central teams. So that's the way it's going to be broken down. So that's how the Cubs are, Jeff. Just to let you know that, Jeff calling, a big Cubs fan. Once again, if you missed us earlier in the show, we announced the Tampa Bay Rays. A lot of Tampa Bay fans. The Tampa Bay Rays will be playing 40 games between the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles, and Toronto Blue Jays. So 40 of those games, which basically I think amounts to, like, I'm not sure, 2 or 3 series, whatever the number comes out to. And then they will be playing 20 remaining games in a league against the National League East, which is a series between the the Phillies, the Mets, the Nationals, and the Braves. So just to give you an idea there, we're trying to get our correspondent on from the Tampa Bay area, so hopefully in a few minutes we can get him on the line as well. But some great news out of Major League Baseball, and we definitely love to get you involved. Please leave a message. I'm arrowing down here to see if anybody else, is letting me know any questions right now. We're going to see if we can get some of our famous guests on the phone right now to talk a little bit more about the breaking news. So let me go ahead and try that right now. Let's find out. Yep, here it is. Okay, we already said that 60 games in 66 days, which means these teams are not going to have a lot of time off. And once again, if you're just joining us, I'm looking down at my phone a lot because we're getting a lot of breaking news about Major League Baseball, and I want to make sure that you guys are informed about everything going on. Major League Baseball Commissioner, we just heard about that. So as far as the exact dates and times on the schedule, we have not yet received that, and that's why I keep looking at my phone to go ahead and find out. The one thing we do know is, it just came down, thanks Jeff Passan, the great insider for Major League Baseball, said the games will be at the home ballparks. So the 60 games will be at, whoever the home team is, will be played at the home ballparks. It is not going to be played in any minor league stadiums. So I'll tell you, it gets difficult. You're trying to do a show, you get in breaking news, you want to make sure it gets reported to everyone. So we're trying to find out as much information in this hour show as we can find for you. You know, a lot of the things that are going to come up here, you know, when you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, and once again, we're going to be breaking down the Tampa Bay Rays again on Friday with Rich Hollenberg, but, you know, they have potential that Charlie Morton, you know, in a 60-game season, he's going to get, what, not even a third of the start, so maybe, what, a little less than a third of the starts that he would have normally got during a regular season. So you may only see him, you know, 8 starts. You know, what do you got? 60 games divided by 5 games. So, you know, whatever that is, I'm not into much math right now. But it's not going to be a lot of games that he's going to start. So then the question comes up, who do you have next year? Then remember, one thing we always look forward in the month of July, by the July 31st, is the trade deadline. You know, what's going to happen there now? I mean, a team's going to really want to trade players when the season hasn't started. So you probably won't see a trade deadline. Just a lot of the things they still got to iron out. But baseball is back, and I'm very, very glad to see baseball back. So some really great news there. Pete Alonso text, happy to see baseball back. Let's play. I mean, everybody is just excited. And then you got to ask yourself, who has the favor now of winning? Who's the favorite to win it? You know, that's the big question that I think a lot of people have to ask. I mean, if we look at last year's statistics, and I'll get those up again, you know, the Yankees won 103 games last year. You had Minnesota, which had just an unbelievable tear with 101 wins. I cannot see them necessarily playing that type of baseball again this year. You know, that's just me. I think they got a great team. They added Josh Donaldson, of course, Rocco Baldelli. Then you got the Astros, who right now I would still pick as one of the favorites to win it. I mean, whether you like what happened with them or you don't like what happened with them, it still is one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. I don't like that they cheated. And I think if you really look at this, you know, not that anybody, you know, what happened with COVID-19 and the coronavirus is definitely a terrible tragedy, illness, however you want to word it, that it happened. But if you have to think of a bright spot for the Houston Astros, is during all this turmoil that we've been going through with the COVID-19 and everything, and baseball not being able to play, you know, it kind of took a back burner, the cheating scandal. And you got to ask yourself, do you still think, you know, people are going to go after the Astros, hit their batters, or are we going through a time, and it's a great question, are we going through a time now where maybe more people are forgiving and forgetting about stupid things that have happened, and maybe they will forgive. I don't know, but it definitely took a back seat, and you definitely haven't heard a lot of talk with good reason. Who wants to talk about the Houston Astros cheating scandal when you have a major epidemic going on in the world? And then also the Boston Red Sox, who are involved in this scandal as well. So these teams are pretty much going to get off a little bit lighter than you expect. Then you got the Los Angeles Dodgers that won 106 games. I think a lot of people are planning on them being the favorite in the National League. But I'll tell you one team that really scares me. And I'm not saying it because of being a previous fan of the team or not, but the New York Mets scare me. They really do. I know they lost Noah Syndergaard, but they got an unbelievable pitching staff, even without Noah Syndergaard. You think of some of those pitchers, what is it, Stroman, they added Porcello and Watka and DeGrom, just to name a few. And then that bullpen is just incredible. And then you add those young hitters. I mean, who can forget what Pete Alonso, the Tampa Bay-based product out of Plant High School, did as a rookie last year for the New York Mets, hitting, 53 homers, breaking Aaron Judge's record. Then they got other players. I think they still got Cano on that team. I know they got McNeil. I mean, they still got Ramos, I think, as their catcher. This is a good, scary team, the New York Mets. So I would say one team that really sticks out is the New York Mets. And I think in a short season, the Mets have those guys. They got a relatively young team. Maybe not Cano, but, then they got Rosario over there at shortstop. And, those young players have a lot more energy than some of those veteran players. So I would say watch out for the New York Mets. That will be one of my dark horse teams in the upcoming 60-game schedule. You got the New York Yankees. I think, the New York Yankees, the time off allowed them a lot of time to get healthy. The big question for the Yankees, even though they won 100 games, is going to be how good can that pitching hold up in the American League East. You got to remember, 2/3 of your games are being played against your division. So now you got to say, is that bullpen good enough? Is that starting pitching good enough? I would say the best starting pitching by far in that division has to be the Tampa Bay Rays. And it has nothing to do with me being a Tampa Bay Rays fan. It's just the way it is. The Tampa Bay Rays are by far the best pitching staff starting-wise in that league. The question with the Tampa Bay Rays is going to be the catching position and the bullpen. You can't count on Nick Anderson alone. A lot of people, there's a lot of question marks around Castillo. There's a lot of question marks around Alvarez. What can they do? And, then are they going to go with a 5-man rotation, or are they going to go to a 4-man rotation? And don't forget, one of the best young stars, pitching stars on that team is Brendan McKay. And how is he going to be used? Do you put Chirinos and Yarbrough in the bullpen to solidify that bullpen and maybe go ahead and use McKay as a starter? I mean, there's just so much that Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach, and Kevin Cash, the manager, can do with that pitching staff in a six. I mean, think about this. Think about facing the Tampa Bay Rays. Okay? You have Blake Snell start. You have Chirinos come in, and then you have Yarbrough. That's your 3 pitches. Or you have a Charlie Martin go 4 or 5 innings, and Brendan McKay go the other 4 innings. I mean, when you talk about this pitching staff, it just fires me up to have baseball back. I mean, it's just incredible. And I think you're going to see that a lot. But to answer your question, Jeff, the favorites have to be the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The big question with the Yankees is pitching. The two dark horses, which I don't consider the Tampa Bay Rays, a dark horse. I think they proven last year when they took the Houston Astros to, a deciding game in that divisional series. It showed you that the Tampa Bay Rays are for real. So, should be great. And then, of course, the New York Mets. So that's my picks. If you're a big baseball fan, that's what I'm looking at. And I'm going back to the Tampa Bay Rays here. Today we did have news that Nick Briscoe has signed a big deal with the Tampa Bay Rays today. Their draft pick, I think it was for $3 million. So another big news out of baseball. Seeing if anything else. No, we know about that. We know about the home ballparks. I'm just erasing. As I said, I get messages so frequently here from a lot of these guys. Don't forget we got Jalen Beeks and Peter Fairbanks as well. In that bullpen for the Tampa Bay Rays. So just some great pitching. Another guy, when you look at catching, you got Zunino. A big loss for the Tampa Bay Rays was Travis d'Arnaud. He was by far my favorite player last year on the Tampa Bay Rays. But if Michael Perez is healthy, what a great second option you have as a catcher. If Zunino cannot start off, and I will tell you, and I did predict this with Logan Morrison years back about the breakout season that he was going to have. And I would say that if I had to put money this year on Mike Zunino breaking out of last year's slump, he will. I think Zunino's ready. He had a baby. He had a lot on his mind going through last year with a new team, in addition to the family. That adds a lot of stress to you. And I think Mike Zunino could have a great year. But if he doesn't, Michael Perez is a good hitter. He's not necessarily the type of catcher that Zunino is defensively, but he has an unbelievable bat. Not what you would call a power hitter, but a nice contact hitter, a lot of singles and doubles who can definitely go ahead and play. Then they added what? They added Jose Martinez to the infield, if I look at it right. And then in the outfield, what? They went ahead and added Hunter Renfroe. You want to talk about some power? They've added some power. They added Yoshi Satsugo from Japan, who is a power hitter. And then the one guy that I really like, and I don't know what Major League Baseball is going to allow from the number of players on the team, is going to be this guy, Manuel Margot. He's a right-handed hitter. But he has so much speed. And you talk about Kevin Kiermaier in the outfield with that great defense, that Golden Glove award-winning type defense. This guy, Margot, can play some defense. He can give Kiermaier a run for his money when it comes to how well you play defense. So to have two center fielders that can play that great a defense, is definitely going to be great. But I'm going to tell you something. I like Kevin Kiermaier, but Kevin Kiermaier has to take his pride and suck it in a little bit and become a team player. I just haven't felt like Kiermaier, and I know he's a big, the fan base loves him in Tampa Bay, but when you look at the little things you got to do to be successful in baseball to win, your ultimate goal is to win. It's not about you. And sometimes Kevin Kiermaier cares a little bit more about himself than he does the team. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I'll give you some examples. Kiermaier needs to learn first to go to left field, to go the other way. Too many times you try to see him pull that outside pitch and he pops it up or misses it. If he would just learn to go the other way to left field, pitchers would start getting scared to throw him that outside pitch because every single time he hits that ball to left field or down the left field line, it's an automatic double for Kevin Kiermaier. And then he's going to get in scoring position and he's going to score runs. And also they're going to be so afraid that they're going to stop throwing him back inside where he'll be able to jack another 5 to 10 home runs in a full season. I mean, not this year that many, but in a full season because he's going to see more of the pitches he hasn't been seeing. He's going to start seeing them more frequently. The other thing Kiermaier has to do, if he cares more about winning than himself, is he has to lay down that bunt third base. Too many times I see them go ahead and they shift Kiermaier. All he has to do is lay down a bunt. And I could have swore I heard him in a conversation. I don't know if it was on WDAE or an interview on Fox Sun, but somebody asked him about, Kevin, why don't you go ahead and just lay down a bunt? You'd be on automatically, then you can steal second. Oh, that's not my game. Okay, let me tell you something, Kiermaier. You don't want to go through that crap with me because it is your game. Your game is to do whatever is necessary for your team to win. If you're too high almighty or think you're too good to lay down a bunt so you can get on base because it's more manly or egotistical to get a base hit or to hit a double, then shame on you. This ain't the right team for you. We want winners on the team. And I'm telling you what, I am a Kevin Kiermaier fan. I want everybody to understand that. Okay? I don't want you guys to think I'm not a Kevin Kiermaier fan. But those are things that I notice, okay? When you've been involved in the game, when you coached in the game, you've been around these athletes at this level, you pick up things like this. And this is just what I'm picking up. And I hope I'm wrong. There would be nothing that makes me happy to see Kevin. I mean, if I'm Kevin Kiermaier and they're starting me off the season with this shift, I'm bunting every damn time I come to the plate. Because then they'll stop, like I said, not only will they stop throwing you, outside pitches when you go to left field and you get to see better pitches, also when you start bunting the ball, Kevin, down the third baseline, they now got to pull their shift back over and can't play that same shift they were playing you, which is going to give you the opportunity to get more hits you normally wouldn't get because they were playing the shift. It's just common sense. I call it baseball 101. To me, it comes naturally to think of those things, and I know coaches the same thing, but, for somebody to come out and say that I'm not, it's not my game and it's not my style of baseball, I'm sorry, that's not a team play to me. And a team wins because of camaraderie and, working together towards the same goal. And, we need Kevin Kiermaier. We need him to hit. He's not the greatest hitter around. So if they're going to give you a hit, take the damn hit. To me, it's common sense. Now, I do want to remind you all, once again, that tomorrow night, we're going to be on our friends Crew Life, C4L Productions. If you are not a member yet of Crew Life, please go on Crew Life and join. Tomorrow night, our first edition of Frankly Speaking Sports on the Crew Life platform on Buccaneer Wednesday. Every single Wednesday, we are dedicating to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And tomorrow night, we started off with a bang. Tomorrow night, Ricky Reynolds, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and New England Patriot, will be joining us live. That is an interview you do not want to miss. We'll talk to him about, we just got Tom Brady. We just got Rob Gronkowski. Maybe what's the differences in his eyes in playing from New England to Tampa Bay? What's the difference among the fan bases? And just his entire outlook for the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then on Thursday night, we come back to Frankly Speaking Sports. All you USF Bowl fans, Eric Handman, the public address announcer of the USF Bulls, will be joining us live to talk some Bulls football. That's not too far away. We'll talk about USF and what the expectations is for USF. He's not only the football public address announcer, but he's also the women's basketball public address announcer as well. Then on Friday, Tampa Bay Rays fan. We'll get him back in the season, baby. Rich Hollenberg does the post and pregame shows for the Rays. Has done some play-by-play broadcasting as well. He will be joining us Friday night on Frankly Speaking Sports. And then next week, we're not going to go over the whole week, but I do want to let you know that the grandson of Harry Carey, the son of Skip Carey, I better know him as Chip Carey, will be joining us Tuesday night. That would be a week from today on Frankly Speaking Sports. So just a great next, 3, 4, 5 days of guests that we have on our show to interview you. Once again, if you have not yet subscribed to Crew Life, go ahead and do so. We will be live 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow on that platform. I believe Rob also went ahead and put a link on Frankly Speaking Sports as well. Also, for those of you that listen on Crew Life, and I know I have plenty of you listening right now, go ahead and also, you can go ahead and just because you're a member of Crew Life, don't think you can't listen to me the other 4 nights of the week. Usually Rob puts me on anyway, or you can join Frankly Speaking Sports, and you can watch Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on our Frankly Speaking Sports network. You know, we did a special show for you tonight. Originally, we had planned Gene Watson, the assistant to the GM for the Kansas City Royals and director of pro scouting. But due to the fact that Major League Baseball had come up with the decision to resume their season, he was called away in an emergency meeting with his general manager of the Kansas City Royals, which we completely understand. So we did not get the privilege of having him on this evening. But I do also want to remind you that we will try to get him back on sometime next week, where we could talk about how things went down, about the start of the Major League Baseball season, and we'll talk a little bit about the Kansas City Royals. We had a lot of good questions to ask him about the Kansas City Royals, about George Brett, about some of the 2 pitches that I wanted to know about, Dan Quisenberry and Brett Saberhagen not being in the Hall of Fame. So we had a lot of good things we were going to ask him, but we'll get to him next time. He promised me he'd come back on, and we would definitely love to have him do that. I want to thank you all so very much for joining us tonight. I want to remind you all, tomorrow night, Frankly Speaking Sports, for that one day, we'll be moving, for now on Wednesday nights, we'll be moving over to our Crew Life platform. So you can watch us tomorrow night with Ricky Reynolds. We'll be talking Buccaneer football on Crew Life, on Frankly Speaking Sports. Everyone, have a great night.